Hello, I'm Bill Green, here again with another exciting interview with an Episcopalian. And our guest today is someone everybody likes, Maizie Argondizza, who is a longtime congregant here at Trinity. How is it that you came to Trinity for the first day?
Well, my BFF was Charlotte Sullivan.
Oh.
And she and I were married into the same family.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She and Herb and their family got to Portland a couple of years before we did, and so she introduced me to Trinity, and I've been here ever since.
My goodness, I didn't know that. And so what year did you arrive?
I'm not good at years.
Before when did we add this? Mid-60s. Mid-60s?
Yes, so
Okay.
we were here early 60s.
Okay. Now, I did not know your husband, Alan, but I see the memoriam on the playground area.
Right.
Everybody loved Alan.
Oh, they did. He was principal at Longfellow School, and did you know that?
Not really. I knew he was in education.
Well, he was principal at Longfellow. In fact, he was my principal for a couple of years when I taught there.
Oh, my goodness.
Which was really fun. But he was active at Trinity. He was a born Methodist, and when we came to Portland, he just embraced Trinity and was on the vestry and was just very active in the community and at Trinity. Mm-hmm. So he was just loved by everybody.
And how did you meet him, at Longfellow?
No, on a blind date at the University of Maine in Orono, where he was going to school and I was at UMF.
Oh, no kidding.
At that time, it was Farmington State Teachers College.
Yep. All right, where'd you go on the date?
It was in Orono at Gay 90s party.
Okay.
And we had a blind date, and it turned out that we ended up getting married.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was wonderful.
So you went to UMF, which then was a teacher's college.
Right.
So hence your foray into teaching. What's your hometown?
I was born on Westport Island.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep, and I've lived in Wiscasset, and then when we got married, we moved to Portland, and I've been here ever since.
Huh. Wiscasset. Yeah. And what was your maiden name?
Colby.
What?
Colby.
Colby. There's a big change from Colby to Argondizza.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Now, tell me about your family. You and Alan had children?
Right. We have 4 sons.
Yeah.
My oldest son, Alan, is in Exeter, New Hampshire, and he and his wife, Rose, have a business. They bought the old teen center in Exeter on Front Street, and they made it into studios for artists.
Oh.
And it's amazing. If you go online, you can see what a nice place they have
check
there.
that out.
And they have 2 children, Alan and Maizie,
Oh.
who are now in their 30s. And then we have Andrew, who lives right next door to me.
Oh.
And I have a compound there, so I have assisted living. I have a 2-family and a bungalow on the same property on Lawn Avenue.
Oh, nice.
And Andy and Tracy live in the bungalow. My son Mike lives on the 2nd floor apartment, and I have the 1st floor apartment.
Wow.
So
That's a great way to
it's great.
be in retirement, I would think.
It really is.
Yeah.
They've been so helpful.
Now, tell me about this name, Maizie. Were you named Maizie? Is that the name?
Yes, that was my grandmother's name.
It's an old name.
It is.
Yeah.
But there are only 2 Maizie Argondizzas, I think, in the whole world, and that's me and my granddaughter.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful name.
And then thank you. And then I have Michael, who is a framer at Casco Bay Frames, and he's an artist. And then I have Matthew, who lives in Miami, and he's a photographer.
Wow. Now, you are an artist. I should have talked about you, I guess, first, but tell me about your art. I know you had a recent show. Is that still going on?
It is. It's going on for another week.
Nice.
It's at Maine Mead Works on Upper Washington Avenue. Mm-hmm. And that has been really fun. That's been nice to have. And Ida Conley's son is the one who manages the Maine Mead Works.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's how I got my show there.
Yep.
Because he asked Ida, do you know any artists who can come in after this artist? And she said, I know just the person. So,
Wasn't it great?
Yeah, so it was great.
That's wonderful. So you were here with 4 boys.
Yes.
Were you ever on time?
Yes, actually, it was like going to school, you know. On Sunday morning, it was just get up and have breakfast, get the kids dressed, and off we'd come.
Yeah. How much of a split in their ages is there?
2 years between Alan and Andy, and 2 years between Andy and Mike, and then 5 between Mike and Matt.
Okay, I bet that makes Matt fun.
Yeah.
And so I know that you've been very involved at Trinity, and I believe you were the first woman senior warden. Do you
Yes.
believe that to be true? And
Yes, yes.
what year was that? And
That was in the 90s with that was with Betty
Yep.
Lemire.
Yep.
And yep, that was quite a while ago.
Yeah. That's when the Greens came. I don't know if you were senior warden when we came, but Betty was here, and you had just been senior warden, I think, and
Yes.
we came around 94, maybe 95, but I think 94. And I remember you kind of having that status in the church as a church leader, and it was fun to meet you when we came. What else have you done at Trinity? You must have been on everything.
Well, I've done quite a few things.
Name a few.
Well, I was church school teacher when we had, in the Undercroft, we had our classrooms,
Yep.
and there were like 8 to 10 in every class.
Yep.
And I had the 4th grade,
Yep.
and I had Doug Henry, and my Andy,
Yeah.
and T. Allen, and they kept me on my toes. And that was a fun time. And then when John Wolverton was here, he asked me to be on the committee to start the daycare. So that was wonderful,
Yeah.
seeing that blossom. And
Well, tell me about that, because it's been an important ministry for the church, which has almost become forgotten by the everyday churchgoer,
I know.
because it's almost separate from the church. We have a majority on the board of directors. Pam and I serve on that. Peter serves on that. And now for me, it's gone full circle, because our daughter Emily has 2 sons who are in Trinity Daycare.
nice.
And they are struggling to find workers. I mean, the whole daycare industry is, and they're great daycare. Emily loves Trinity Daycare, but it's it's a great ministry that we're doing here. And,
It is, and it's a problem everywhere.
oh yeah,
It's just, a national problem. But it's been such a service to the community. And I think in those days it helped bring people into the church because their children were here, so
Yeah.
some families
Yeah.
joined the church because of that.
yeah.
So that was an important time, I think, for Trinity to have children here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we don't get any children now from the daycare, with the possible exception of my grandchildren who don't come alive. They've been seen here, so that's fun. But that was a great ministry. So you must have done 50 Christmas fairs, 45 lawn
Probably.
sales,
Probably.
coffee hour 75, 80 times. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
What's the best part of Trinity for you?
The best part is the sense of community.
Yeah.
And I think that this is such an important ministry that you're doing because, like you said, you really didn't know much about me.
No.
And even though I've known the people that you've already interviewed for years and years and years, there are a lot of things I didn't know about them. And I think it's just important to increase that sense of family.
Yeah, it's, somebody on TV, I think it was on CBS, used to throw a dart at a map of the country, and they'd go to that town and do a story on somebody. And the story was always interesting. And it might be the person working behind the counter, or it might be the person that ran the big corporation, but everybody's got a story. And when you spend 10 or 15 minutes like we're doing with the various congregants, it's really fun to find out some things about, Maizie met Alan on a blind date at Orono and, a gay 90s party. And,
Yeah.
that's just fun to know. It makes you closer.
Yeah.
So I think that's really great.
Yeah.
And it sounds like all your kids are artists to one degree or another.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they all are. My grandfather was an artist, Maisie's husband.
Yeah.
And then my mother was an artist. And I was always interested in it, but I never had time. I had 4 kids
Yeah.
and worked full time.
Yeah.
And so there was no time to paint or draw or do any of that. But so when I retired, I was at a church in Florida that I go to when I go in the winter, at St. Hilary's in Fort Myers. And I was talking to a gal at coffee hour whom I'd never met before. And I said to her offhandedly, do you know anybody who teaches watercolor? And she said, yes, I do. And we've been buddies ever since.
Oh, what a riot.
So she started me out. And then I came home in the summer and I took lessons with Polly Goss, who was my mentor.
We love Polly Goss.
Yeah.
She's gone now, but she was just constantly reaching into our family and touching our hearts.
Yes.
Lovely person.
And she sure could paint.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen her paintings?
I think I have, but I don't. It's like the piece we were just looking at. I don't feel qualified sometimes to judge, But
she really was a fabulous painter.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, Maizie, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for being a part of Trinity. You add so much with your beautiful smile
thank you.
Joyous countenance, and it's just great to get to know you a little bit better. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
On Exciting Episcopalians. I think I finally have named the piece that we do. I'm Bill Green, and we'll be producing one of these every week. And we very much appreciate your joining us. We hope to see you again soon.